Hi everybody, I'm Curtis, the Lofty End Scaler, and today we're going to be actually putting pencil to paper to try to come up with an idea of what I want to do for the layout. So hello and welcome. Today we're actually putting pen to paper and kind of be looking at the perspective layout for my train. And I've given this some thought. But the layout, the room itself is actually kind of unusual, and I'll show you that here. If you look down here on my page, this is, I don't know if you can see it or not, this is a rough layout of the attic. So this here is where we're starting. This is going to be the 29.5 inches by 81.5 inches wide. And then the loft goes all the way down here. From this point to this point is about 20 feet. And then from side to side here is 9.5 feet. But remember that this is going to be a low wall. And right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, this is sort of a cross section and it's not drawn really well. But this is only going to be 22 inches high. And then this wall here is going to be 38 inches high. And then this little area here is this area here. And so this is going to be 22 inches off the ground. So theoretically, if I have a box that's 4 inches high, I'm going to be above this wall here. So I'm going to be coming off of the ceiling here. Okay, and then this is going to be a 12-12 pitch. And so for those of you who don't know, a 12-12 pitch is it descends 12 inches for every 12 inches it goes out. So it's a relatively steep angle. It's like a 45-degree angle. So it really descends rapidly. It would be nicer if I had less of a pitch, but I just didn't have room for it when I built the house. So it's a 12-12 pitch, and then we're getting back down to here. Now, the idea for the layout would be to have this as a station area here. And I'm basing this on Chicago Metro. So, and that's what I have, the commuter trains. It doesn't have to be Chicago Metro, but I have the Chicago Metro trains. I also have 4 Kato RDC rail diesel car units. And then, so that's going to encompass all the passenger service. This station also will be accommodating Amtrak. And then I'm going to be running the freight myself. So the computer is going to be actually running a schedule with the Metro, the Amtrak, and the local stuff, the RDCs. And then I'm going to be running the freight trains to the industries, which require switching and things like that. So the idea, though, is, and you know, I'm building this in a loft, but I always have lofty ideas for what I want for a layout. And so since I am actually going to be doing this and I want to do it right, I'm going to be starting here with a station. And more than likely, the station is going to be a diagonal. So it's going to kind of come from this point. It's probably going to stick out like 6 inches here, all the way down. And instead of having it at 29.5 inches, this is going to probably be, I'm going to figure 36 inches. And that'll give me another 6 inches to play with here. It's going to overhang that ledge, but I really don't care about that. And remember, reach. I'm not going to be reaching to the far back. The only part that I'm going to be reaching to the far back is when the track gets down to this side over here. So I have an option to make. And what I've done is, well, before we get to that, basically the train's going to come around the side here. It's going to come around, come down the side. In the corner here, I was thinking about putting a station in Libertyville, Illinois. There's a metro station that's on a curve, and so I was going to put maybe a metro station there, maybe a few small little stations. I'm going to put at least a couple sidings here so trains can pass each other. Otherwise, it's going to be a single rail line, and then it's going to continue around outside here and then down this side, and then I'm going to have another station over here and over here. You know, there's certain things that I want this layout to have, and I want the trains to actually be going somewhere I want them to be running and to have a decent run. Of course, that's a lofty thing. You know, usually you put it into where it's hidden, and I'm probably going to do that too. But that's why I was thinking, you know, if I could have more than one deck, that'd be awesome. So I could come around here, down this side here, and then here, since this is a tall wall, all my shelves here will probably go 1, 2, 3 on top of the shelf. But, you know, I could come around here and then have this wall here is 6 feet long. I could have several stub end sidings that I could just store track. The Metras are push-pull operation, so there's no problem there. The one's, you know, going forward and then just reverse and go backwards, no problem. The Amtrak, it may be my Union Pacific 844 excursion train that's going to come into the station occasionally, will have to have a way of reversing itself. And so that's maybe a little bit of an issue. But in this area here, that's where I plan to have a loop. So, but anyway, on the same level, this would come down here, and actually we would have a track coming into to this lower level here, looping around, coming back, and then coming back into this loop. So the train could start off here, go all the way around, blah, 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 come here, loop around, and then come back. And that would be the first one before I'd even put it in a second deck. Okay, and then I could put in maybe a second deck later if I feel ambitious enough and I still haven't got my basement back. So that's kind of the idea of what I want right now. And so the Metros would end here and then they'd come back. So maybe I'd have a station in here, a station platform in there. And so this would have to, the track that comes here and loops around would actually have to descend 4 inches and come around, loop around, then come back up again. Okay? So as far as the alcove, that little area, what I did was I went into the computer and I created this little schematic, and you can do this. This is actually printed. I would just went in, and every inch, square inch, is a foot, and that is not the scale of the Kato track planner. You can see that every foot is just over an inch in this one. But this is just giving me an idea. This is just plain old sketching. I'm not too worried about the geography or geometry of the switches or anything like that right now. It's just to give me a general idea. And so, as I said here, this is the 29.5 inches or 30 inches here, and then I gave myself another 6 inches. So this is going to be a total of 36 inches right here. And so what this is going to do, this is going to give me just a little bit more room. And so the idea would be to have 2 tracks coming in from this side here, and then I would have a curve, and then I would have a switch right here, okay? And so that's not really the right angle. I started off great, okay? So I'd come in here, and I would have a switch here, and then I'm not too worried about the radius of this curve here. So I'm just gonna, if it's a long train like a Amtrak or the excursion train, those are long cars, and we want to keep them off a short radius as much as possible. And I'd have to look at my equipment. I don't know if the couplers are on truck mounted or if they're body mounted. If they're body mounted, they're not going to be able to tolerate a tighter turn radius as if they were body mount or truck mounted. If they're truck mounted, they could turn tighter. But I'm going to try to keep this as broad as possible. So basically, I'm going to be a nice arc here, and then just coming down around here, down this side, and then I'm going to do the same thing here, but now I'm going to have these tracks coming down from my rail here. So I have to be careful of how far I'm going to do this. And the idea would be to have a switch here, coming down, and I may have to adjust the geometry of this. And then this other track would be coming in here, curving in, straight, and then have another switch here, straight, okay? And then I would have a switch here. Okay, and then back here some ways, wherever the wall is, before it goes to the wall, I'd have a switch coming down to 1. So the train could go into any of the platforms. And so basically then this train here would come down here, and then this corner is going to be the tightest corner. So I'm going to have to figure out the geometry on this one. So my sketching isn't that great. It's just going to make a quarter turn. And then it's going to come down here, come down straight, and then I'm going to start a nice gradual corner back here. And then this is where it's probably going to come out of a tunnel or something like that. And then it's going to come all the way down, something like this, and come back in. And so then the theory is that the train will come in if it needs to be. It can either come in front ways and park and then back out. It'd have to back out past this point and then come back and then do the loop, and then it's facing the right direction. Or it can come in face front wise, come all the way around, come back, and then back in. Okay. And then also I thought maybe here I could put another switch in here and then come this way, maybe another switch, and have some fueling there. Now, as far as the station is concerned, I think this whole thing would probably do better, the platform, if I moved these tracks so it's a little bit more into this corner here. You know, right now we're talking 1, 2, 3, 4 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet, a little bit, maybe a little over. So that should accommodate some fairly long trains. And depending on how much corner I can put this into. And then above this here, I could take a look at it like Chicago is concerned. Chicago's a subterranean type station, so it's below. You know, the Union Station, you know, can go up here, something like that. And then, you know, all this can be subterranean. You know, this can go to a tunnel here, and then this all could be elevated. Then this could, you know, I could have, you know, a street here, you know, maybe a street that goes along here, or since this is below the surface, you know, do something like this, and then, you know, there's the building there, and then have a wall here, you know, and then you could have, you know, a street come down here, and then you could have businesses, you know, here, somewhere along in there, you know, and then you could have this street here, you know, all the way down, and then maybe you could make a parking lot for the station here. I'd have to really think about this a little bit more. And then, you know, this could all be subterranean, but the problem also is that it's so low that if I make it subterranean, you're not going to be able to see it unless you're really down low, because if I really make this subterranean like the Chicago platforms, then my area would cover this whole thing. And I'm really thinking I'm not going to be doing that. So instead, maybe I'll just have the station is going to be elevated, and then you know, have steps going down to the platform, or have a lower level where you don't see steps, but maybe, you know, where they come down and come to the platforms. Of course, the tracks are going to have to be designed to have the platform in between, so that should be good. Anyway, that's the general idea of what I'm thinking that I want for this area here. You know, I could add more tracks. Maybe I could add for like the RDCs, the rail cars, I could just add, you know, a couple short platforms that they don't compete with the Chicago Metros. And so they can just hop into there if they need to. So that's what I'm thinking. And, you know, when I actually get the foam on it and start laying things out, I'm probably going to go back in with the stencil, although I really don't like using the stencil, to see if the geometry will work, and see if how it does. But anyway, so if you have any thoughts or suggestions about this particular part of the layout, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Would love to hear your thoughts, and to follow me along in this journey of trying to get this all ironed out. And of course, I have to keep in mind too that this is all going to be DCC. So each platform is going to have at least 3 sections to it. So you know, with four long tracks, you're talking 12 sections. So we have to think about equipment as far as track detection and things like that. So anyway, thanks for joining me. Have a great day. Please subscribe. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, just go away. Just kidding. But make suggestions. How can I make this better for you guys? You know, I'm just kind of speaking my mind when I'm doing this stuff. This is just fun for me, and I would love to hear your comments and thoughts. Anyway, have a great day.